It's about 4:10 a.m. in San Diego. I haven't gone to bed yet. Probably I will do it later. But Agastya told me to talk to you. And he gave me a lot of ideas, and it's not possible to talk about all of them, but I will talk about a few of them. In an earlier video, the first video, a long video that I did, I just mentioned that the problem is due to fear. And I'm not going to talk to you about whether or not the virus is real. It is real and it is not real. And it is both. I'm not going to be philosophical, so let me give you some concrete things that have happened. The fear was boosted by the media. Here, at least in the West, particularly in the US, people freaked out. You are going to die. They did not know what to do. And it is a culture where people go by reasoning, science. And the worst thing is nobody saves any money. At least the middle class people, the lower middle class people don't save money. And all these combined create tremendous amount of fear. The stock market collapsed. And then the fear drove them nuts and keep driving them nuts. Everybody nuts. We keep watching the a number of people who are being affected and how we have not tested, and then probably everybody has this virus and everybody is going to die. All these kinds of things combined together can create the reality, the unpleasant reality, and probably death too. In ancient times, in different cultures, people depended on the higher force that created us, whether it is God or nature or whatever name you want to call. And that faith helped. And I was, just before I came to this video presentation, I was watching Benny Hinn. He was telling that prayer will move who? Not the mountain, but God. Prayer will move the heart of God, and God knows the destiny of everyone, and then He will move the mountain. That was a great way of putting things, and I have a lot of respect for him, although he puts down other religions, which I don't agree. You should be able to only pick and choose using your own brain and discretion, whether you are getting the right thing or the wrong thing, and you are God yourself. The intuition part. You may not have education, but still you have the God within you. So on the level of your soul, you are God, like everybody else. And then when you pray, you will have the proper understanding of what to do. And we have lost touch with it, and then we are giving credence only to the rational reality, and then that makes us to freak out. And this freaking out is responsible for all the suffering that we are going through globally. Globally, what the coronavirus is teaching us is to understand the limitation of the body, uh, the limitation of the mind, for which we have become victims. We have to rise above the body. We are not the body. We are not the mind. The mind is tricky. The mind presents this illusion of the body. When you go to sleep, you are not dead. What happens? You have no memory of everything. You don't even know that you have a body. You don't know that there is the world around you. This is a philosophy called the Chittamatra, which means mind only. Nothing exists except the mind. Nothing exists except the mind. That's why when you go to sleep, the world disappears. So the world is not real. That's the argument of the school called Chittamatra. It's both in Hinduism and also in Buddhism. So it's such a realistic philosophy. It's not simply a philosophy that good for armchair philosophers. It is a very realistic one. Now, quantum physics is behind it, which says that nothing, nothing is the same at the particle level. The particle is non-local. It's everywhere. So the lesson for us is just to go deep into self-inquiry and understand the self as God, the self as a particle, the self as infinitely powerful. And we are not going to be subjected to a rationalistic reality. And that is where all the problem comes. Fear comes because of that. Fear has no place when you identify yourself as God or infinite being. You may not have money. That doesn't really matter at all. If you really, really, truly, truly live the faith that you are God, then there is no problem. There won't be any problem. And then in an earlier video, a few hours ago when I said that put your attention here in the third eye in the pineal gland. Then momentarily you will forget about this reality presented by the data given by the televisions. And then when you see that, in 24 hours, so many people died in Italy. And just now I saw that you have to fear that because this may be applicable to the United States. The information that we get, can create this reality. Now, I just had a good acquaintance of mine. He was a senior man, and his name is Norman Cousins. And he was told by the doctors that he will die. Now he said, "No, I'm not going to die. I'm too young to die." And then he watched comic movies, and then he reversed the terminal illness, and he wrote a book called The Anatomy of Illness. And a few years, 40 years later or 30 years later, he had another terminal illness. Again, the doctor said that you are going to die. Again, he just did the same thing and then got well. Then he went to UCLA and then told them about what he intends to do. He's a very well respected man. So he was responsible for creating what is called the Psychoneuroimmunology, which means the biology, which simply put means the biology is your thought form. Head First was the book that he wrote. Head First. If you think you have coronavirus on one level, you will create it. And then he related it to the breast cancer uh, fear that people have. Every 3 months or every 6 months or every 1 year you go and then check if that you don't have or you have breast cancer. The fear itself creates, and then he did also a lot of placebo studies, and he told the people, 500 people, who cancer people, and told them, I'm going to give you what's called chemotherapy. As a result, you will lose. So the people lost hair, although they were not given chemo, they were given a placebo. So just the information can cause you the loss of hair. A placebo is very important. Placebo is not unreal. So the information that goes into your brain can be devastating. So that is what you have to be very careful about. You don't want to put negative thoughts into your mind, and you will create negativity. You become poor because the thoughts are poor. You become rich because the thoughts are, you know, uh, thoughts of prosperity. Not that simply thoughts, but you truly believe that you are wealthy, you are wealthy, you are wealthy. You don't believe that you are a loser or you are a loser or a loser. If the thought becomes so powerful, then remember, this is not philosophy. This is really the truth and proved by quantum physics now. It once used to be philosophy, but not anymore. But people want to discard this and then just to stick on to the sense reality, the reality presented by the senses and the mind. And as long as you are stuck there won't be any miracles in your life because you don't expect miracles. That miracles do not even happen. They are non-existent. They are non-existent because you don't believe in them. The moment you believe in miracles, miracles will happen. So who asked you not to believe in miracles? Well, common sense, and that is where the problem is. Miracles do not commonly happen. So, do you want to be a common man or an uncommon person? You want to be uncommon. Look at people who have made, uh, mm, who became exemplary, and they are all the people who believed in miracles. And after all, it is not the mind that gives you all. Einstein said that all the things that he was able to discover just came to him. He did not say that he discovered it because he believed in the intuition that is beyond the mind. Patanjali believes that Patanjali's true definition of samadhi is the wisdom that is beyond the mind. And when we are focused on that, Attamatra Nirbhasham Sarupa Sunyam Eva Samadhi, just focus on only the object and let the object reveals to it. Even if you focus on the coronavirus, then if you are a scientist, you will know how you can create understand what is the bottom of the virus. I'm now more and more into biology and how at the very subatomic level, because what basically we are uh, made up of are particles. They are made up of particles, subatomic particles. If we look at the molecule, because now molecular medicine is at the top uh, in the medical community, especially small molecules. But the bottom line is what it is just carbon atom, you know, hydrogen atom, sulfur, and so fundamentally, these are the atomic particles that go and interact uh, with your bodily molecules, which create the disease, and then binds with it and then diffuses it. So the interaction takes place between the atomic levels. Atomic levels in the medicine and atomic levels of the disease. They are also in the disease DNA. So it binds with the DNA and then it destroys the DNA. And that's the mechanism of it. So at the DNA level, and it works at the nucleotides level. The nucleotides are just only the atoms. So this is what the ancient rishis were talking about. They were not talking about as nucleotides or molecules. They went even beyond that. They did not speak this language. Now I am drinking a milk with the turmeric in it. The power in turmeric is infinite. There is infinite power in turmeric. What kind of power? Not just molecular power, not just atomic power. It is more at the level of the subatomic particles, at the level of isotopes, at the level of even beyond, even level, at the level of antimatter. And that is the power of ancient Siddha and Ayurvedic medicine. And people have not presented it in the proper light. So, especially for people who are listening from India, you should go and look at a tremendous amount of research done on turmeric. Like 40,000 research papers have been published, and 4,000 patents have been given to turmeric, but still they are not able to crack the secret in turmeric, and which I have been able to. So I will soon reveal this to the world. Still, there's some maybe 2, 3 or 4% of work needs to be completed. So what we need for this world is just a new body, a new mind, a new science. We should not be hanging on to any science, whether it is Western science or the old Eastern medicine. We have to bring them both together. That's what I say. That's exactly what Einstein said, that science is lame because its methodology is limited to material sciences, and so it becomes lame, crippled. But what about religion? And religion is blind faith. So my own desire, our purpose in life is to bring science and religion together, the East and the West together, so that we can have a better life. And also you have to be very objective in understanding the reality, and then must be quite intuitive. And a few days ago, Donald Trump came and then talked about the need for medicine that need to be administered to the people as a priority. And then he talked about the malarial medicine, that is, and then a few other things that arthritis medicine that can be applied to the coronavirus. And he intuitively knew that, and then there is some research also. But the scientists were putting such uh, you know a resistance to that. So you have to be objective. You have to be objective, and I'm sure that he is still persisting on that. He will, being a man who is very strong, and he will push that. See, uh, at one level, at one level of reality is the the virus is not real, and that is at a high level for a person who is meditating and who is enlightened. Nothing exists except the mind exists. But for most people, the virus exists, and then it spreads, and for them, they need the medicine, and then the medicine will be able to definitely help. So we have to have also to look at the reality, not in a very with a fixed mind, but a mind that is open. Then only you can understand things. That several people. There was somebody who came and then said, he's a Republican. To me, Donald Trump came and then he talked about this, and he really means that, and this will really help people. And following that, somebody called me from India, and then they said that exactly the same things, the medicines are being administered in hospitals, even sophisticated hospitals, and people are getting well, and then they were being discharged. But in India, the beauty is every medicine is legal. Homeopathy is legal, Ayurveda is legal, Siddha is legal, Unani is legal. And then for the Indian mind to combine all these things is not a problem. Uh, so after that she went and then she had chemo. There is no contradiction, because she went for a surgery because it's already small, and then following that she did chemo, and then she's well now. So she was neither for the alternative, not for chemo, not for. She was, in fact, she was for all of options available. All the options are available. So people have to be open at the same time, uh, and not. The most important thing is not get stuck. One thing that I want to tell you is the highest wisdom is that you have been given by God, because you are God in yourself, to change everything, whether it is your finance or your diseases or your relationship. You can make them, as you want them. That means you can change everything. And that is the power that you have within. The miracle is not something impossible unless you make it impossible. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. And provided you live the non-mind, you have to raise above the body, raise above the mind, and live the God that you are. And once you do that, everything is possible. And now turmeric is being available everywhere, and then with all the researchers that they have, it can do. It's a miracle herb. itself. Go and look at the research that has been done. But so what's important for you is just to stay in a state of mind which is totally not only positive but unlimited, full of joy, and then without fear. And the fear will keep coming. What am I going to do? There are 3 million people are without jobs. And one thing that I like about Donald Trump is, don't worry about it. We will bring back the economy as it was before. Because there was a time when he was very proud of the situation in the United States. That said, people have more jobs, and then the employees were finding it hard if the employee is going to show up because there are job offers, so many offers are there. And then what happened? Something negative happened because of this negative virus. Because the virus is negative. In religious terms, it's an evil force. We have to kill them. So that's why I'm carrying this one, because my approach is eclectic. So eclectic in the sense that I compound all different solutions and benefit from it. And just having this veil, which is an instrument, a divine instrument that the god Muruga carries. And when you have this, you will have power, and made in a particular form of wood. And Karangali in Tamil, I don't know what they call it in English, in our other Indian languages. And this geometrical shape is very important, and it goes and destroys evil. That's for sure. And then it also gives you very sharp intelligence. For people, it is dead wood. The scientists will come say, this is dead wood. You are so superstitious. You live in another world. But the scientists do not know that they are more superstitious than I am. They are victims to what they know. Okay, they do not know the definition of what is knowingness. What is knowingness? They do not know the question. I come from a tradition where there is a word called P-U-L-L, pull, and there is another word called bull, B-U-L-L, bull, and there is another word called full, F-U-L-L, full, and then they all have different meanings. So they acquired knowledge by looking into how we are deluded by language, by simple syllables here. Full, bull. And how does meaning, just appear in a very mysterious way in your mind? These questions were asked by the rishis, the Vedic rishis. So without knowing something, without a word, there is no knowledge, they said. So what is the word? It is just syllables. And this is what led me to create the science of phonemic intelligence and my group. And nowadays I am more recluse, and my students are teaching this phonemic intelligence. They are going to give it to people who are now homebound because the schools and colleges have been closed. So take advantage of the phonemic intelligence. Even a simple sound like a syllable like ah. This is one of the part of the research that I did at the with the World Cancer Clinics and the Harvard Medical School. just by saying the sound, ah, the whole brain lights up. Okay. That is, so we have to learn more, not dump anything, as superstition. And if we dump anything as superstition, you are more superstitious than anyone else. So this is, I know that these are all the things that I don't want to say, but I guess they wanted to say that I should really come and put before you this knowledge. And this Agastya is one whom I like very much. Many Nadis said that I'm Agastya myself in many times in an incarnation. This is the statue of Agastya. We do not know whether he looked like this or not, but this is generally believed to be his form. I'm showing him. And he still lives in a place called Kutralam in the hills with a light body with his own troop of people. And eventually, what we need to have is his body, the light body. Light body is not only for the Hindu tradition, even in the Bible, Paul said, with a wink of an eye, the body will turn into light. Corinthians. The body can turn into light, then virus cannot do anything. So eventually, what I want to do is I have taught many courses on the light body. Then that has to become the curriculum for our schools and colleges. So that once you have the light body, nothing can touch you. And that is evolution. That is becoming God. Then you become a Deva. Deva means God, which means Deva literally means a shining being. So we want to become shiny beings, and then the virus cannot do anything to anyone. Then there is no ignorance in the mind. So this is what I wanted to talk to you at this time. Thanks for the divine for inspiring me to give you this presentation. God bless.